different types of the software development, what myself from my company, what I am thinking that instead of developing a new software, is there any existing software will be there, and for my organization I can use it directly. I think so that will be easy for me. Why? Because the time will be saving, and as well as the cost also will be getting saved for me. So in this situation, when I want to go for the instead of the software development, I want to make a use of the existing software. So which we will calling as a name accounting packages. So when I'm using with the when I want to use with the accounting packages, that was a good. Why? Because it was already developed and it was existing, and I can use as per my requirement. That was good. But how? What is the problem with this accounting packages will be there, as like as any Tally or any Wings or any Focus or any of the accounting packages? What will be happens is by this using of this accounting package, I can handle all the accounts department, not the other departments of my company. And as well as another problem is there, whatever the Tally software or the package has been developed, is it may or may not, is it may or may not with, is it may or may not that will be reaches my requirement. May or may not that will be reaches to my requirement. So instead of using with the existing package of software packages also, if I can use the existing software as per my requirement, that means the first one is which we can call as a development of the software. Whenever I can go for the development of the software, the problem is it will be having in a lot of the time and it will take in a lot of the money also. Instead of that, if I can go for the any existing packages or existing softwares that completely not reaches my requirements, that will not completely reaches my requirement. That's why I don't want to go for the development of the software and as well as using of the existing software. In this situation, somebody has been suggested to me to make the usage of the ERP packages. So these are the ERP packages also existing packages, but as per the client's, as per the user requirement, we can customize these of the ERP packages. That's what is the advantage of the ERP packages. What exactly by the ERP in the sense of ERPs are already developed, and as well as per the requirements of the company, we can make the customization. That means we can make the modifications of that existing software package. Maybe that will be the useful for me. In this situation, I am trying to know about of the more about of this ERP. So what exactly by an ERP? Say for example of E, it means enterprise, R, resource, and even P means plan. What exactly by the ERP in the sense of it's an enterprise resource plan. Enterprise, say for example of a company or any organization, and as well as resources, which we can say that the departments of my particular company. And what we are making as a planning in the sense of we are making into the particular order management. That means if there is a company or any organization which is running with a lot of the resources, and we need to make into a particular planning procedure, and that particular planning procedure which we are calling as an ERP, enterprise resource plan. So what is the benefits for the ERPs are, instead of developing a new software or instead of using the existing software, we can make that ERP packages as per our requirement. That means as per our requirement, we can customize the SAP or sorry, the ERP packages. That's why I want to go for the ERP packages for my company or organization. So in this situation, I have taken the decision to make my Hindustan Lever Limited into ERPs. That will be fine. So instead of developing a new software, I have taken the decision to go for the ERP. But what is the next problem will be that which ERP I have to choose? Which ERP I have to choose? So in this ERP segment, there is a lot of the ERPs will be there. Say for example, of when we are discussing with the ERPs, so The first most powerful and useful ERP package is Oracle Finance. And the second thing in the another ERP package which we are calling as a name PeopleSoft. PeopleSoft. As like as Siebel and as well as Barn and as well as JD Edwards and also the SAP. Like that there is a lot of the ERP packages will be there available at present. But which ERP I had to choose? There is a lot of the ERPs will be available, but which ERP I have to choose? That is my problem from my side. So in this situation, I'm comparing each and everything which will be better for my organization, which will be suitable for my organization. I can use that one. So here, when I'm discussing with the Oracle Finance, it's a more or less excellent ERP package when comparing with the all of the ERPs. But the problem with the Oracle Finance is it can be useful for all of my financial applications. That means in my company, whatever the financial departments which is having the transactions, for all of the transactions, I can use with the Oracle Finance, as well as the PeopleSoft which can be used for the all the HR related activities. And the Siebel is for the CRM activities, and the Barn is for the production and as well as the purchasing activities, as like as JD Edwards is for the sales department. Like that, when I go for the any of these ERP packages, each and every ERP package is completely restricted for the particular type of the departments only, not for my complete requirements of the company. That means when comparing with the other ERPs to SAP, all of the other ERP packages are completely working for the particular type of the applications only. In the situation, if I'm having the 6 departments or the 10 departments or how many of the departments will be there, that much of the ERP packages I need to make an install of my company. So in this situation, automatically the data also will not be supposable to make the integration. That means it is not supposed to make the integration. What do you mean by the integration in the sense of the data which is entered in the one department that has to be integrated with the another department will not be possible when we are taking off any of these ERP packages. In this situation, somebody has been suggested to me to go for this one. This is what? SAP. So first of all, we have to know that it's not an SAP. It has to be pronounced as an SAP. Why? Because in SAP, each and every letter having their own meaning, like as systems, applications, and then products in data processing. Systems, applications, products in data processing. Here, S means systems. What do you mean by the system? As nothing but like any company or any organization. And what about the applications in the sense of whatever the transactions which is happening in a company, which we are calling as an applications. And as well as all of those applications has been divided into the different departments which we are calling as an products. We need to convert into the particular data processing work. That means what exactly by the SAP in the sense of it's an systems, applications, products and data processing means of if there is a company or any organization is called as a system, and whatever the transactions which is happening under that particular company or organization is called as an application, and all those applications has been divided into the different types of the departments which we can call as a products, and we need to convert into the particular data processing work. That particular data processing work is called as SAP. And previously, from the other ERP packages, what is the problem which I'm having is, the problem with other ERP packages which I'm having here, it is an integration. Excuse me. Is this SAP is having the integration that will be good for me. I can easily purchase this product and I can use it. So, what is the SAP which I know that's one? Now, this SAP package has been introduced by the company name of SAP AG on 1972 at World of City. And this World of City has been based at Germany. Look at it, Germany. And the company name itself is an SAP AG. What is an AG in the sense of in generally for the Indian based companies which we are using the legal entity of the limited, like as in a public limited and private limited and other things. As like as for the US based companies which we are using the INC, incorporation. As like as for the German based countries, they are using the legal entity of AG. AG is a legal entity for the company which is in the Germany. So as like that, whenever this SAP AG people has been started the company, and what they are thinking that instead of developing one package or one software for the particular company and as well as for the particular country, what they are thinking that instead of making for one company or one country, they want to make all the companies, that means for all of the companies, they want to make in a one single package, even for all of the countries also. That's why in this situation, what they have done that they have started the research from the world's smallest organization to from the world's highest organization. Whole of the companies and as well as worldwide global countries also. Why? Because depends upon the company by company, their business requirements will be changes. As like as depends upon the country wise also it will be changes. That's why these of the SAP people, instead of making one ERP package or the SAP package for one company and as well as for one country, they have started the research from all of the companies throughout the worldwide and as well as for the all of the countries also. They have collected all the requirements from all of the companies and all of the countries, and as well as whatever they have collected the requirements, those of the requirements they are putting into this SAP package using by their own language, which is called as an ABAP 4. That means the ABAP is in a backend of the SAP, which we are calling as a technical of the SAP, and as well as using by this ABAP language and the ABAP database, whatever they have collected from the requirements of from the all of the countries and as well as from all of the companies, what they have done that using by this language, they are putting all those or they have developed all those applications into one software package. The package is in a SAP and have as like as whatever the requirements which they are collected, they are divided into the a number of the functionalities, which is called as a functional modules. These are the front end, and these are totally which we are having the 64 functionals. That means when we are comparing with the any of the ERPs to SAP, all the other ERP packages are completely working for the particular type of the applications, but the SAP has been developed by the language of ABAP, and also these developed applications have been divided into the 64 types of the applications, and those of the 64 types of the applications which we are calling as a functional modules. That means here instead of working for the one company, instead of working for the one country, it can be used by the globalized. That's what we can call as an SAP can be used into the globalized. So in this situation, the SAP is there. So for example, of it has been already totally having the 64 types of the applications or 64 types of the functional modules. That will be great. And as well as myself is on a Hindustan Level Limited, as which we discussed. Now, I want to make my organization into the SAP system. That means one product which is already developed and which is available in that something. So in the situation, can I directly purchase this product and I can use it in the sense of it's not a possible. Why? Because whatever the SAP package which has been already developed, that cannot be made for my organization. Why? Because it's in a globalized ERP package. So, but I need the SAP. But it was not developed for myself. So, in this situation, what I am doing that I'm making the contracts with the some IT company like this. That means I want to myself, I am a user and I'm having totally 10 departments and I want to use the ERP package. For that purpose, I have given the contract to the Infosys. Now, myself or else you are the one of the company or one of the employee which is working in a Infosys. What we have to do, what will be our work roles will be, and even in the real time, how the real time project will be going on in the sense of In the real time, the total project will be developed in a separate format, and that format which we are calling as a SAP methodology, which we are calling as an ASAP, ASAP methodology. What is an SAP methodology? Actually, it is not an A as soon as possible. As like as in a software development, there should be an a SDLC will be there. Software development life cycle. As like that, here the total SAP package can be, or the total SAP project can be done by through this SAP methodology. What exactly by the SAP in the sense of accelerated SAP? Accelerated SAP. So in this accelerated SAP, totally we are having the 5 phases. That means or 5 levels. So in the first level or in the first phase, what will be happening? Which is called as it is a high level preparation. High level preparation. That means in between of this Infosys company and as well as the client company. That means myself is in a Hindustan Lever Limited and your people are working in a Infosys. That means in between of the Infosys and as well as Hindustan Lever Limited, what is the initial planning? What is the initial planning? Or as well as the contracts and as well as the agreements and as well as the payment terms and conditions and everything will be happening in Infosys by through the high level preparation. And after completion of the high level preparation, the next thing which you can call as a BBP. What is the BBP in the sense of business blueprints? Business blueprinters, or which we can call it as a business blueprints. So after completion of the MOU, mutual of understanding or mutual of consent from the client to Infosys, what is the next level in the Infosys is the Infosys of the business analyst or the business analyzers. They are moving into the client company, and after they are moving into the client company, what they are doing that they are collecting the client's requirement. What is the requirements to run the particular organization into SAP, and whatever the client requirements which they have collected, that will be given to the third level of the employees in the uh, Infosys, that is called as a realization. And what we are doing that in this customizing the SAP applications as per the blueprint. So in the first level, the client and the company has been making the contracts, and in the second level, the client company or our company people will be going to the client place and they are collecting the requirements from the clients. What is their requirements of the clients to make the business organization into SAP. And as per those of the requirements, the third level of the people in the Infosys, they are making that realization. Simply we can call it as they are making those of the requirements of the clients into the SAP system. That is called as a third level of the realization. And as well as whatever the realization work has been completed, that means the customization has been completed. After completion of that customization, whatever the things has been done in SAP, the client has to be check it out whether it is working or not. Why? Because the user is the client. For in that phase, what will be happens is we people need to make a testing. That means whatever the applications has been developed, those of the applications has to be checked. That is called as a final preparation. Final preparation. That means which we can call it as a testing of the applications and user training. For the user training also will be happening. And in the fifth level, it is called as a go to live. That means which we can call as a production. So the total SAP project will be done in this 5 pages of the levels or else in these 5 formats. So whenever we are entering onto the SAP as a financials, what we have to do? what exactly will be happening in here. That's we need to know about of this. So we have decided, that means our client has been decided to go for the SAP. Why? Because instead of the developing a new software, they can use the existing software. For that purpose, they have decided to go for the ERP. So under that ERP also they are so much interested for the SAP. Why? Because instead of using for the different departments for a different of the ERP packages, they can use the one ERP package for whole of the departments. What are the departments which are they having? For all the departments also they can use this SAP. That's why the client is ready to go for the SAP. So in this situation, the SAP package has been already developed and the client is ready to use. But what we have to do in the sense of, as per the client's requirement, we need to customize the SAP application. For making of that customization, what will be happening here, that's what we are learning. That means as per which we discussed, as per just now which we have discussed, here also when learning of this stage, what we are doing that, we are taking one example of the company. So say for example of, let's have an example of the same thing, Hindustan Lever Limited is there and we are the team of the Infosys. Now whatever the client of the Hindustan Lever Limited is giving the requirement to us, which is called as an as is. As is a client requirement and that has to be comes into SAP as a to be. That means in as is, as a client, they are giving the requirements and those of the things has to be comes into the to be process. So in this making of the to be process, we are the people of the consultants. As a consultant, what would be our roles and responsibilities and what exactly we have to do in this consultant as a consultant. So here let's have a look about of this one. Here in this between of as is and to be, first of all the FI concept, FI, which is called as a finance. In the finance, the first concept itself it is an FIES. FIES in the sense of finance enterprise structure. The first concept itself is in a finance enterprise structure. We are as which we discussed, we are working in the Infosys and the client has been given their enterprise structure and their enterprise structure they have given what is the company of them, nothing but like a group of the company, and then what would be the company code for them and as well as what would be the business area for them and as well as what is the consolidation business area for them. This is which we can call it as an enterprise structure. So I will let you know, explain about of these things, which from my side. Let us first thing is an SAP FI. In FI, first of all, we have to start up from the FIES, means FI enterprise structure. So in FI enterprise structure, what will be there? What would be there in the sense of in FI enterprise structure, which we are having the first thing is an enterprise structure, and that enterprise structure which we are having the things of the company, see here, company code, business areas, and as well as consolidation business areas, and also what is the financial management areas of them, and as well as what are the credit limits which they are proposing for their customers, and what are the different types of the functionalities of the areas which they are having. So as like that, first of all, as per the client's requirements, we have to done all these things. So after completion of making of these of the things, enterprise structure, we need to make that what are the different types of the plans they're having. So each and every company having the multiple of the plans. As like that, here also my client is having a multiple of the plans. But what are those of the plans which they're having? And as well as what are the different types of the purchasing organizations they're having? And even after making the manufacturing of the product, what are the sales they're having? The sales organization, that is called as a sales departments. And even what are the distribution channels where they are having? Mode of the sales of the distribution. and as well as what are the divisions, different types of the divisional products which they are going to manufacturing. And after completion of that one, next concept, these are the three concepts which you can learn in FIES, in the logistics, in the purchasing, and as well as in the sales. And after that, what is the financial accounting global settings? So here in the global settings, the first thing which we are calling it is in a financial account global settings, the first one is the fiscal year. So what would be the fiscal year in the sense of it is nothing but like a financial year. That means each and every country, they can have the different types of the financial years. As like that, my client is also having their own financial year, say for example of the April to March. But the SAP system is not made for one company or in one country. That's why they didn't maintain the April to March. What they have done that, they have maintained the universal of the calendar year, which we can call as a Jan to December. That means the SAP system which is already having the Jan to December, but our client is requiring about of the April to March. Then what we have to do? What we have to do that we need to convert that calendar year into the particular financial year, and that is the variable or that is the variant which we are calling as a fiscal year variant. So what do you mean by the fiscal year variant in the sense of it is a variant which is used to maintain the current year, or else which we want to maintain the financial year of the client. That means which we can call it as the conversion of a calendar into the financial year, which we are calling as a fiscal year variant. And after completion of this fiscal year variant, which we need to go for the posting period variant. So what would be the posting period variant? The posting period variant in the sense of on which year the periods has to be open. That means which we have taken as the fiscal year is in April to March. Under that April to March, the April has to be start in which year? That means is it in the 2015 or it is in the 2014 or it is in the 2016? And as well as with the 12th period, which we are calling as a March, that has to be closed in the which year? That means on which year the periods has to be open and which year the periods has to be closed. That we have to discuss about of this posting period variant. What is the fiscal year variant in the sense of the fiscal year variant? The fiscal year is in a variant which is used to maintain the financial year, and the posting period variant is used to maintain the year of the periods. Maintain the year of the periods, and as well as the what are the different types of the document types. That means what the client is asking about of the different types of the transactions. Say for example, of the client is asking about of the general postings, and as well as the purchase invoices, sales invoices, incoming payments, outgoing payments, and as well as the returns, sales returns, purchase returns, credit notes, or the debit notes, or whatever. What are the different types of the documents they are required, and as well as when posting of those of the transactions, what are the fields will be the required for that or not. And even for each and every transaction, how much of the tolerance limits we have to propose. And even for each and every user, how much of the tolerance we have to make it. And after completion of this, what are the big general ledger settings? These are the global settings, which for the first one is in a FIES, and the second one is in a FIGS, Financial Accounting Global Settings. After completion of the FIGS, we have to go for the FIGLS. GLS in the sense of nothing but like a general ledger settings. In FI general ledger settings, for making or creation of a general ledgers for the clients, what are the chart of accounts they are required, and how many of the account books they are required, nothing but like an account groups, and what is the retained earnings. And after completion of those of the general ledger settings, we need to create the ledgers, and after creation of that ledgers, if the client is asking about of the different types of the postings, how to post the different types of the transactions. In the transactions, we are having the general posting, barcode document, whole document, and as well as the sample document, and prepaid expenses, and as well as the postpaid expenses, and as well as the sample documents, as like that. There was a multiple of the different types of the transactions, which is called as a postings. And even if the previous year of the closing balance will be there, and how those will be comes into the current year as an opening balance, which is called as an open item management, and how to clear those of the open items. And even when the same transaction, whatever the transaction which we are discussing about of the general ledgers and everything, and if those of the ledger transactions will be done by through the other than the company code currency, that means not from in our company code currency. If our company code currency, if our company code currency is an INR, if our company code currency is an INR, so but the client is asking about of that, they want to make the transaction into the USD. What is the selling rate and what is the buying rate and what it is, and all those transactions which we are calling as a foreign currency transactions, that is called as a foreign valuations. And after completion of the foreign valuations, if these of the foreign transactions are the general ledger transactions which can be done by through the from which bank and from which check, is the check has been given to the client or the user, if that was cleared or uncleared, that is called as a house banking or the bank accounting. After completion of the house banking and bank accounting, which we are going to the AR in the sense of accounts receivables. In this account receivables, how to make the transactions of the account receivables, and in the accounts payables, how to make the transactions of the accounts payables. In these transactions, which we have to discuss about of the advances. If we have given any advance to the vendors, how it will be adjusted to the next purchase. If we have given the any advance to the, if any customer has been given the any advance to the our company, how it will be going to adjustable. And all of those things which we are calling as an advance payment configurations. And after that, if the customer is not doing the payment regularly, in the situation, what we have to do that, we need to give a payment reminder notice for the customers. If there is a multiple of the customers, if there is a multiple of the things, how we can make the customization of the payment reminder notices for all the customers? Instead of creating each and every customer separate payment reminder notice, we can make the one program for that, and even for that we can run whenever we want. That is called as a dunning program, which is called as a payment reminder notice for the customers. And if I want to make the payment by through the bill of exchange, how it was, even when running of the dunning, if you want to add any interest, how it will be, is it in a balance interest or the arrears interest, how much of the interest the client is required. And even in the taxes, value added tax and the CST tax and also the excise tax and also the EDC, and even including with this, what are the TDS also when making of any services. When I want to make the payment to the vendor of the transporter, how much I have to pay? Why? Because there is a tax reduction will be there. How much of the tax reduction which we have to pay? And after that, how to make the returns of the TDS? And after completion of all these taxes, all these taxes, all of these taxes, how to make the fixed assets of the clients. That means, is there any land, building, furniture, fittings, plants, machineries, and land? How to maintain their depreciation, and as well as how to maintain their appreciations. So if the depreciation is there, whether if it is a straight line depreciation or else whether it is a declining depreciation, and how it should be maintained by the different types of the method. And after completion of this asset accounting, we have to go for the cash discount for the payment terms and conditions. And as well as any wrong entry has been posted, how to make the correction of the wrong entry, that is the reversals, and even the petty cash and as well as the cash journal. This is what is the FI. And after completion of the FI, we know that how to make a purchase and you know that how to make it a sales. But what we are making the purchase, that will be coming from the MM. which I have made a purchase of the raw material, and that raw material has to be convertible into the finished goods. That means if my organization is a product based organization, and if I have purchased the raw material, what would be the cost elements will be there to making of that raw material into the finished goods, and in which department it will be happening, the cost centers, and is there any expenses will be related to the budgeting, how to make the orders of them, and after completion of all those things, how much of the profit we have to add for that product. When we are adding the product of the cost and everything, what is the product cost sheet will be there, and after that, when during of a sales, for how much of the price we have sold out that product, when we are selling of that product, what would be the profitability which we are having, and all these things can be handled by through this the total course concept of the FI and CO. So here for this FICO, it will be takes totally 60 to 90 hours. That means simply we can say that if it is a daily 1.5 hour session or 1 hour session, it will be takes the 60 days or the 45 days. Even if you have the more time and you can spend the more time, if feasibility will be there, we can make it as in some as early as possible. But most of the situation it will be takes minimum of the 45 days will be that must. So is it clear, Ms. Vaishnavi? I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just listening to the all the synopsis, what goes in, right? You were telling about the synopsis, like what the financial,
Yes, yes, yes.
finance as well as the controlling part.
Yes, that's what.
Hmm.
So can you understand the things what will be happening here? You can have the idea. Now it was
Yeah, yeah, I've just got a broad idea like what comes in and what are the factors involved in it.
just so simple means what it is whatever
Mm-hmm.
the client requirement will be there. Say for example, if you are having already the taxation, you are a taxation consultant. Huh? Simply I will give that.
Mm-hmm.
If my company is in a product waste, my requirement will be some
Okay.
X. Otherwise, if my company is in a some Y, again my requirement
Mm-hmm.
will be some changes. Is it right or not? As like
Yeah,
that,
that's.
that's true. Na?
Mm-hmm.
As like that,
Yeah.
here also it is in a globalized SAP is in. There was
Okay.
a different types of the companies will be there, different types of the countries will be there. By depending upon
Okay.
the country wise and as well as the company wise, their business transactions will be changes. In the
I see.
situation, in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
what this SAP people has been done that instead of making one software or one package for one company, they have
Okay.
created one
Mm.
global one global package, and whatever the global requirements of the SAP is there, and
Okay.
whenever one company wants to make their organization into the SAP, they are giving the
Okay.
contract to some other company, some IT company. Say for example of
Hmm.
Infosys as which we are taken. Now we
Mm-hmm.
are the team which is working in Infosys. As an
Okay.
Infosys people, what we have to do that depends upon the requirements of the clients. That means the requirements of the user. We need to
Okay.
make the customize of the applications. Say something.
Yeah.
Simply it is called as a tailor-made. SAP is there.
Okay.
SAP is there. It's having all the different parts. And what
Okay.
we have to do that, whatever the different parts will be there, and we need to make the separate parts for each and every user, whatever the requirement. As per
Okay.
that, we need to make into one order. So simple process.
Mm.
There is a lot of the things will be there, and as
So
per the
this
things.
would be done by the Infosys people and the technical persons would be
No, no,
doing
no,
it,
no,
right?
no, 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 no. Why? Because there is not a choice to make the order for the technical people. Why? Because the technically the SAP was already developed. That's what we said that in initially. The,
Okay.
the package has been already developed. That's why we need not to make
Okay.
any requirement of the development. It was already
Okay.
developed, but the thing is, as per the requirement of the client, that means as per the user requirement, we can just do the modifications.
Okay. This is done by ABAP people, right?
No, no.
Who is designing?
See, I will show that. I will show that. I will let you show this one. I will show the screen of the SAP. Let's see.
Okay.
I will let you know the screen. what exactly will be happening? You can idea about this one. So now, Ms. Vaishnavi is uh,
Yeah,
SAP.
Vaishnavi. Yeah.
Vaishnavi, no? Yeah, fine. Ms.
Yeah.
Vaishnavi is a consultant in Infosys. This is the screen which I have given. Now, myself is the client. And what I'm asking that, I want to use this initial screen of the SAP as a user from my side in the Hindustan level limited. And I want to post the one transaction in accounting, financial accounting, in the general ledger of document entry. I want to post this transaction. So as a client, I am asking only this one. The screen was already designed by the SAP people. We did not to design this one. But let's see.
Okay.
I want to post the one transaction on 14/03/2016. And this was the transaction type of the SCA, the document type of general ledger posting, and as well as the company code which I am working for the Penna Cements. And it was the period of 03. That means it was in a financial year of the 15/16. That means it will be comes under the 12th period. And I want to post in the INR. That was the header data. So one transaction was done on this date, and I'm posting the transaction on this date, and the transaction is general ledger, and it will be comes into the 12th period, and it has been done in this company with this currency. And
Okay.
when I'm coming to the top down, here the PSTKY. What is the exactly by the PSTKY in the sense of it is a name posting key. It was a posting key. Here automatically the posting key has been shown with the 40. This is also predefined. You can see here what is in a 40. Just scroll down. The 40 is in a GD. The account type of G. That means general ledger.
Okay.
And it is the posting type of D. Means debit entry. That means
Okay.
on SAP, whenever the posting will be going to done, and under that posting, if you want to make the transaction of the general ledger debit, GL debit, it was on a
Okay.
transaction type of 40. And in which account? Say, if I can open this accounts list in this chart of accounts, these are the list of the accounts which I am having. And I want to post the transaction of raw material has been purchased. And then enter. And then enter. See, like this is the transaction, for example. See here, what was happened is, I want to give the ledger of 200, the purchases, and
Mm-hmm.
as well as this company code. Even here, I have given the raw material purchase. Even my client can ask that the rent paid also, the salary is paid also, or else the a number of the transaction, whatever they can have. So as a consultant, as a user, I want to post this transaction. But as an SAP consultant, what you people has to do in Infosys is, first of all, you people has to create my organization structure. In the organization structure, I am in need of what is the company. Say for example, of Penna group of the companies. And what is the credit control, or else what is the company code. In the Penna group of the companies, they are having the Penna Cements, and as well as Penna Iron, or as well as Penna Minings. Like that, there is a multiple of the company codes will be there. And they are dealing with the business areas of the something Hyderabad, Vizag, Vijayawada, and something. And they are having the consolidation business areas of AP, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and which they are giving that document for us as per the document how to create it. And after that, in the financial accounting of global settings, what was the fiscal year? That means what is the financial year of them, and that financial year periods has to be open in which year and close on which year. And after completion of this, just go for the general ledger
Mm-hmm.
accounting. What are the GL accounts? What is the master data of the GL account? And how to create the GL account? And here I have created these of the GL accounts which is already there. See, in the PEN1 company code, in the asset side, I am having the raw material stock, finished goods stock, and as well as sundry data. In the expenses side, I am having the purchases and the raw material consumption. In the liability side, I am having the GRIR clearing and increasing and decreasing finished goods, and as well as the sundry data. This is my requirement which I have given as an in
Okay.
HLL. If I had given this requirement, you have done this one. After completion of this one, when it was comes into the production, that means your work has been done. As a consultant, the project was finished. After that, that project has been given to me. I can use only this one for making of the posting. This is the GUI, which the user can work. For the user can work by using the customization things as per the requirement of mine. That customization can be done by you people from the Infosys, any of the IT company. That
I
Infosys
see.
people, which is called as a consultant. That means
Consultant. Okay.
you people are working as an SAP FICO consultant in Infosys for the client of Hindustan Lever Limited.
Understand. Okay.
That means as per the Hindustan Lever Limited, you have to do that. Maybe when you are going to the company, there your client is in some Manipal super specialty hospitals. As per their requirement, you have to do that. That's why it's required the as like as business requirements of the organization or else the domain experience of the accountants. That's what it is for me.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
But th this is like on you're telling about the functionalities, and I was just trying to find the different ABAP and the FICO.
Yeah,
That's also designed.
I will let you know that. I will let you know that. See, for example, this is the about of the functionality, na? Say for example of accounting,
Yeah.
financial accounting, in general ledger, document entry, uh, in the general posting. This is the screen. Say for example, for posting of a general ledger entry. As in a functional people, you know how to create the ledger and everything. But what I
Okay.
am saying that as in a client, I am not interested to see this screen. That means the screen was not clear for me. Then what I have to do? Other else, let's make one more example instead of this one, which we are working for the client of the say something around Apollo Super Specialty Hospitals or Manipal Super Specialty Hospitals. So when I'm creating the customer in here in SAP, when I'm creating the customer, some of the screens will be showing like this. Some of the screens will be showing like this. For creation of a customer, these of the fields will be there. These of the fields will be there. So, but what my client is asking that here the title of this here it is in a company, Doctor, Mr. and Mrs. and everything, and the customer name and the sales term, street and house number and the postal code city and the country and the transportation zone. Something fields will be happening here. But what my client is asking that my client is in a hospitalities. They don't want to use the customer number and the customer name. They want to use the patient ID, patient name, joining date, and as well as joining time. My client is that type of the client. In this situation, instead of using the screen, the existing screen, the back end of the ABAPers, whoever the ABAPers will be there, those of the ABAP people has to be create the one database table for that first of all. So in this database tables, what they're asking, just create it, and which are asking that patient entry details and here the delivery class something. This is an ABAP which I am doing now, and in the fields the client is asking about of the PID. Sorry, the client is asking about of the PID, patient ID, and the data type is which is in a character. Under this character they are asking about of the 10-digit name, and as well as the patient name, and this was also the character, and as well as this was in a 34 characters, and as well as a join date, and it was on a DATS, and as like that. In the technical settings, yes, yes, and the data class is something, and the size category is something, and then save it, and then come back, activate it, and save it. That means it was finished. The database table was created now. So as per the client requirement, it was not done. As per the client's requirement, the SAP is not having that one. So in this situation, they have created one database table, and as well as for the database table, they are creating one screen also. Say for example, like this, ZSSS, as you get here, ZSSS create something and something and something. There they are writing the program. Say for example, call screen 100, and then double click on the 100, and then S, and the layout. Under that, they want to get those of the fields into here, which I have created one database table, and as well as against of the database table, I need to create one user screen, one user existing screen. Why? Because the client is not accepting the SAP predefined screen. That's why that has to be fulfilled by the ABAPer. That being this like ZPPP, get from dictionary, get from the dictionary, and in the dictionary which we have already created those of the fields, and then enter, put it there, and the first one PAT ID, and the second one PAT name, and the third one date, excuse me, date, and then activate it, and then save it, and go for the flow logic. And here they are writing the logic abapers, but I don't want to use the logic. And here, as per that, I want to open the screen as in a client. So SC93, that is the one transaction code, ZKKK, and create for the program of ZSSS and the screen number of 100, and then save. Now, as in a client, as in a user, I am logging into my SAP system. What I am asking that, I don't want the customer number, customer name and everything. As in a user which I am entering on here, when I am entering on here, just I want to use the ZKKK, enter, the screen has been changed. And here I am putting some buttons and everything. That means simply we can call here what is the ABAPer's role in this. See, here I have given that as the one thing which is called as an as is and to be. See, as is in the sense of what the client requiring, and to be in the sense of that has to be comes into the SAP, and in between of this as is and to be, the gap has been generated, the gap analysis. That means the client is asking about of the patient ID, but the patient ID is not there in SAP. What we have to do? As in a functional consultant, we need to give that functional specifications to the backend team of the ABAPers. What they are doing, that they are creating that field, or they are fulfilling this gap by creating that field. That is called as a gap analysis. That means whenever the client requirement is not matching up with the existing of the SAP system, then the ABAPers will be going to fulfill that gap by making of the development. So simple of the thing. If the client requirement will not be matching up with the existing of the SAP system, then the technical people or the ABAP peoples are making the development of those of the requirements into SAP system. So that's what exactly the ABAPers will be doing there. As well as one screen output will be there. Say for example, as which we discussed as a screen painter, as like as a payment reminder notice. In the payment reminder notice, what my client is asking that at the top of the page, I can have my logo. and after that I need my company name, and in the top down of the top bottom of the page I need my company address and my company logo, and as well as my company some caption or everything. So, but the SAP system is not having that one. Why? Because SAP is not made for them only. In this situation, that report can be generated by the ABAPers. As like as the back end work will be done by the ABAPers and the front end customization can be done by the functional design.
Functional.
Now you got an idea about of the what is the difference in between of the ABAPers and the functionals?
Yes, I got. Yes, Vijay, got it.
Okay.
Hmm.
So is there any confusions from yours? You can.
Uh, yeah, I'm good now.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting, and I just went through and got a knowledge on it. Let me proceed from here.
Sure, sure. You can discuss with the persons and you can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see you, and we'll meet.